Alright, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an oil change on a KFX 2006 KFX 400. I'm just going to do the basic. I just did the oil filter not long ago, so I'm not going to do that today. So what we're going to need, we're going to need a 12 mil and a 14 mil socket. That's what's going to get us to our drain plugs. I know the KFX, it's kind of weird. A lot of people don't know where the reservoir tank is, but the reservoir tank is actually down underneath the front fenders. Kind of tucked away in there. You can kind of see it there. It takes about 2,000 mils, 2,100 mils to refill it. There's two drain plugs on it. The first drain plug that we're going to do is right down underneath there. You can see it in the the skid plate. There's a hole. That's going to be your bolt access. Then the second drain plug we're going to do is going to be down underneath in here, right underneath your reservoir tank. You can't forget this one. To refill your oil, you got to go back in through your dipstick. I know a lot of people think that this Allen key up here is where you fill your oil, but that's not correct. The correct place to fill it is back into your reservoir tank. So we're going to get started by draining the oil and work it from there. I'm going to start with the 14 mil. Make sure you have it on loose end. Oh, set my socket launch in there. That was definitely over tightened. What I should do is throw on some gloves too so I don't get oil all over my hands. Try to keep it as clean as possible. Latex gloves work wonders to keep your hands from getting soaked in oil and stuff. Okay, I got that loosened off. I'm going to take the ratchet off and just unspin it. You can see the oil draining out of there. You get many different variations on when you should change your oil. It is a 4-stroke, so it doesn't have to be changed as much as a 2-stroke. 2-stroke, you want to do every 2 to 3 rides, you want to change out your oil. 4 strokes, I've read some reviews that say 3 to 4,000 miles. I would never go that long. I would do it every 5-10 rides at the most. Change out your oil. I use a 1540 in it because the weather down here on the west coast of Vancouver, it doesn't get very cold. If you're in a colder climate, you're going to want to go with a lower oil like a 0W40, 10W40. The 15W40 is a diesel oil, which is really good for your wet clutch. That's what they use in diesel engines, so I own a diesel, so I got some 15W40 laying around. People say to use your nothing but ATV oil. I don't necessarily agree with that, but you do what you got to do to get her done. So the oil there is pretty much drained off. We're going to put the plug back in, move up to the front, and do the front one. Be careful when you're threading these back in that they go in correctly. You don't want to cross thread it. Real pain in the butt to rethread it if you do. I already got oil on my gloves, so it makes the ratchet a little bit slippery. I'm not going to get a lot of oil out of the first plug I pulled here, the crankcase. Where most oil is going to come out of is your reservoir. So don't want to over tighten this. Just get cranked down so she's not leaking on you. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change over to the 12 mil bolt. Trying to find you a good angle here. Move your oil pan up to the front there where it drains out of. You end up dropping your bolt in the oil, that's no big deal. Just grab a rag and wipe it off. Happens quite frequently just because of the location of them. I try not to, but there's going to be a lot more oil come out of here, so I don't want to get my hand out of the way as quick as possible. As you can see, there's a lot more oil coming out of there. I'm just cleaning out the bolt for oil. These skid plates are nice. They have the holes in the right place for the oil just to drip through and drain out. I'll feel a lot more confident once I got the oil changed in this. It's been quite a while for myself. I've been out on a few rides without changing the oil. So it's just nice to know that the oil is good and clean and good for your wet clutch and all that stuff. Now while that's draining, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where the oil filter is. I'm not going to take it out, but I will show you where it is. Over on the right hand side of the bike, you can see this 3-bolt cylinder with a triangle on it. That's where your oil filter is. You'd pull that off. But right down here by the foot brake is the bolt to drain that. So you drain it first, pull off these 3, and you want to make sure that that arrow is pointing back at the top when you put it all back together. I'm going to go back over here. The oil seems to be pretty close to being done and drained. Doesn't take long to do this, so just a matter of putting your time in doing it yourself. I haven't found many videos on the KFX 400 2006. See a lot on the Suzuki LTZs and stuff like that, but not on the Cowies. Okay, so the oil's pretty much done draining. I'm going to put the plug back in now. And again, I want to make sure it goes in straight so I don't strip it, cross thread it or anything. And with this one, you don't want to over tighten either, just a nice snug up. It's not feeling good right now. Feels like I almost lost some threads there. And I did. It's not tightening up. So now that becomes a problem. You either have to order a new reservoir tank, or you got to try to rethread it, bigger bolt. What I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to put some Teflon on it and try to seal it up. See if that'll work out for me. I'll have to really pay attention to it and watch it. See where I'm sitting. So that's a basic oil change to the KFX. What you do after that, come back into here where you see that 2000. You can see the dipstick above it. And that's where you put in, I would suggest 2100 mils to 2200 mils. And run it for a while, check your oil after you run it for a bit, and see where we're at. Thanks for watching my video, and hope that helped out.